In 2023, over 60 million teachers and students were using Canva. And Canva is a great free resource. And in 2025, that number has continued to grow. And with the brand new update that's just come out, is it everything that teachers have been asking for? Or is it just another distraction? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Canva Code, which is attached to the Canva AI program. And then in order to get to Canva Code and to utilize the Canva AI features, what you need to do is log into your education Canva account. Then you go to the search feature, and in the search feature, you've got a couple of options. You can either talk to the AI to talk about your designs, to talk about the templates, but what I'm interested in is in the Canva AI. And specifically with the Canva AI, what I want to do is I want to look at the Code for Me section. We've been playing with this some in my classroom, and what I want to show you are kind of the things that I thought were pretty cool with it, but then also some of the drawbacks and some of the things that ended up just being kind of a time waste for me. Within Canva right here, I've got all of my past discussions that I've had with the Canva Code AI. And so let's look at one of the first ones that my students helped me to create. So we wanted to create a couple of games. So the first game that we created was an escape room simulation. This escape room simulation, what I wrote in it was that make a simulation game where you have to escape out of a locked room. You need to click on a picture frame that hides a key that will unlock the final door. And what was really cool about this is that this seemed to work pretty good. Each time I play the game, the key is put into a different picture frame, and this makes it pretty simple. As far as this goes, all right, this is just a simple game, but something that I wouldn't have been able to do completely on my own, but my web game development students would be able to do on their own. I really liked this idea, and I thought, oh, this is going to be awesome for my students to be able to create games and to be able to dig into the code to see how they're doing. But there is a small problem with that. Whenever I go into my escape room simulation, I can't actually access the code. And for my web game design class and for my game programming classes, I really need them to be able to do that in order to use these features so that they can go in and make changes as they need. Now, I can go in and I can add multiple versions throughout this. I can add different iterations, but what ends up happening is that I want to dig into the code myself. After we went through and spent a couple of days playing with these, and they had to feed me the prompts because the AI features were locked on the student computers for my students. What I wanted to be able to do was to pull up a game that I had given them to make. A simple cookie clicker type game. And if you've never seen a cookie clicker game, basically you just click on a cookie and that will give you the ability to purchase upgrades. So let's take a look at that game real quick. And I was really impressed with what it came up with first. But again, the downfall of this is that I can't actually look at the code. And I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe someone out there knows how to go in and look at the code, but even whenever I pull it up on the website and I right click on it and I go to view page source, that's all I get. All I get is just the JavaScript and the Androids that lead back to the original site. And that's a bummer for me, but that's okay. So in the game that I assigned to my students for the last couple of weeks of school, make a simple cookie clicker game, I asked Canva Code to create a badger clicker game. And look at that. That little guy is so adorable. I feel bad that I'm like closing his, it's like he's getting hurt every single time. But again, just like in the original cookie clicker game, you can purchase upgrades. And all I did, the only prompt I gave it was make for me a cookie clicker game that instead of a cookie, you click on a badger that makes an angry face every time you click on it. And it got the prompt. This is pretty cool. Now, for the game programming class, it's not perfect because we can't actually see the code. However, if you have an assignment that you're giving to your students, and that student wants to develop some sort of app or some sort of game that they want to talk about or feature in their project, the Canva Code is probably a great place for them to start, because you don't need to know a whole bunch of coding techniques in order to do this. You just need to be able to write succinct and simple prompts, and it should work for you pretty easily. Let's take a look at what I think could be more essential for what teachers are using it for. And so what I got a suggestion was to create a worksheet type website. And so I want to walk you through all the different iterations that I did. And I did several iterations on this. And remember, one of the things that you can't do is you can't get into the code to go in and make changes. But that, I think, is on purpose, because if a teacher's going to use this, most teachers, they don't know how to go into the HTML and make changes to all the different divisions and to all the different tags in order to make it do the thing that they want it to do. I tried to build out a prompt based off of this, and you are free to use this prompt exactly as I used it in order to create your own digital interactive worksheet. So here's the idea. The first prompt said this: I want to create an interactive worksheet that students can drag and drop answers to questions. It gave me some feedback on this, and it said that it wanted to create all of these. It had a few questions like what subject or topic this worksheet was for, how many questions would you like to include, would you prefer multiple choice or matching items in their correct answers. And so what they did is they created one for me so I could just see it. So let's take a look at that first iteration. In this first one, they did a science-based one. And so again, that's pretty good. I think most of the questions were correct. Whenever I went through and I just pulled down all of the answers, and I'm doing incorrect answers on purpose. So if I hit check answers, I got 2 out of the 5 questions correct. That's pretty cool. And it didn't take more than a couple of minutes for it to generate the code and to create the actual assignment. If I wanted to get it correct, all I would have to do is just go through and put things where they are supposed to go. Now I can check my answers, and I got all 5 correct. So my next iteration that I wanted to go through is that I do want to change the subject to fit what I am teaching. I want to do it over the top 5 AI tools. And again, it created that iteration for me. It did 5 questions. It had 5 basic answers based off of that. That's great. It worked good. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. I wanted to create a different worksheet based off of some computer hardware terms that we learn in my Principles of Information Technology class. So I said, can you do the same for these terms? RAM, ROM, CPU, heatsink, and motherboard. And again, it's a champ. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. And all of that through is exactly what was happening. Now, for me, since I know HTML, since I know JavaScript, since I know CSS, I would be able to, if I could get into the actual source code, I would be able to go in and make the changes, add new cards, do all of those things. But whenever I asked, can I see a copy of that code, it started to kind of give me the code. And then it just said, no, I can't do that right now. Bummer. Okay, so what I then asked it to do is that, okay, well, I need to be able to add new questions. I need to be able to change the questions based off of what I want to give students. And that's what I asked. I said, I want to be able to update the text and questions from my page and then push out the worksheet to my students. And Canva had a great solution. What they did is they created a teacher admin panel where I could click on it and go in and make any of the changes that I needed to make. So let's check out that iteration. This works great. I've got all of my normal, the hardware questions that Canva created for me, but I don't want those anymore. So let's say I wanted to do one over a couple of different things, like the ADA method. This is match each ADA term with its definition. All right. And I can go through and add the different instructions. And all I have to do, I have to create the ID for the question. So this one is going to be, it stands for attention. All right, so I'm going to put attention. And then I can use Google or one of my textbooks to go in and find those definitions. I can go in, copy, and paste the definitions all the way through. I can go through and do that. So whenever I hit Save Changes, all right, I've got the definition right there. This is about capturing the customer's awareness, actual answer. So I hit Save Changes, and now I can go here and match the correct question. The other thing that I didn't ask it to do, but it went ahead and put, is that if I wanted to add a question, I can add multiple questions. It just figured it out. But here is the next problem. The teacher admin is a great thing, but whenever I send it out to students to be able to test, they could go in to the teacher admin and make the changes. So I needed some password protection. So in the next iteration on the Canva code, what I went through and did is I asked it, is there a way to make it so that students can't access teacher admin section? And it said, of course. We're going to password protect it. We're going to give it a default password of teacher123. And then you will have the ability to go in and change the password. What's great about this is that now I can give you this setup in the description below, and you will be able to go in and set up your definition vocabulary worksheet, your drag and drop items, exactly the way that you want it, and then you can use it for your own teacher worksheets. This is so cool. Yeah, you can use this for your own teacher worksheets. So again, link in the description. Feel free to use the website that I use. So this final iteration, this is the one that I wanted. It seemed to work pretty good. I've got my basic hardware components. I've got my teacher login password right there where I can go in and either change the password, I can update all of these, I can add questions. And what's awesome about this is that this worked. This works exactly how I wanted it to do. I can go in to my published website. Where I put it into the Canva design, and it just works. It's so good. I can go in, I can adjust my password. It's awesome. So I think Canva Code can be super useful for any of the teachers that are wanting to make things a little bit more interactive. Let's say you've got Chromebooks. Let's say you've got all of these. Let's say you've got a really boring worksheet that students do every single year. You're like, you know what? I want to mix it up a little bit. I want to transform that. I want to put it, make it more interactive. You can create a app that will help you do that. This Canva Code feature, it's really cool. There are some distracting elements in it. There's some clunkiness to it. It just doesn't work exactly how you want all the time. But whenever you have a simple plan and you're able to keep your prompts simple, I really think that it can be something that you can utilize in your classrooms. In the comment section down below, tell me if you've had a chance to play with the Canva Code feature. If you hadn't had a chance to play with the Canva Code feature, go play with it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've come up with a really good idea for the classroom.